everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to be painting this old scratched up record that doesn't work anymore. Y'all, it's in need of a new harmony, and I think our dots are just what it needs. The first thing I'm going to do is get out my painter's tape, and I am going to put a piece of tape over that hole on the back. Now, plugging up the center hole is totally optional for this project. Y'all, I didn't know what I was going to paint when I was prepping this record, so I went ahead and just filled that hole up with a little bit of spackle. I smoothed it over with my scrape tool, and I let it dry. Once it was dry, I gave it 2 coats of my favorite base paint. I let the base paint dry for a couple of days, and then I got out a watercolor pencil so I could put some guidelines on it. You guys, I'm going to use my new segment stencil. You guys can download this in my Etsy shop. It is like my favorite thing right now. So if you don't want to do that, that's okay. Just use your protractor to give yourself 16 segments, and you should be able to follow along just fine. I have a whole video just about this DIY stencil, where you can get it, how to make it, how to use it, everything I know about it. I'll leave that video down below with everything I use in this video, so you'll have a link to find what you need in order to do this project. I'll also leave a link to a video on how to make this DIY compass. This is the flexible compass that I made by hand just to put the rings on. It's so super easy. Y'all, I don't think I'll ever buy anything else. I absolutely love it, and you know, it was absolutely free for me to make. If you guys are interested in making one, there's a full video on that too. All right, y'all, it looks like we have our guidelines on there, and we're ready to have some fun. I got these really cool cabochons, I hope I'm saying that right, in the mail from Row B. Y'all, they're so pretty. I picked out my favorite one. She's been using them to cover up the holes in CDs, and I thought, hey, I could use one to cover up that hole in this record. So I picked out some paints that went with it really well, and I'm ready to make a galaxy-themed mandala. The first thing I'm going to do is wipe off any guidelines that might come in contact with that glue that we're going to secure that cabochon to the record with. I'll let any of the water from that cotton swab dry up, and then I'm going to use this E6000 glue to secure it. The first color I'm going to use is this poodle skirt pink. Y'all, I'm going to go ahead and add 7 drops of this slow dry additive to the paint, only because it is a light color and I have had a history of those cracking, so I'm doing this as a preventative measure. I'm going to get out my dotting tools and I'm going to get to dotting. Y'all, I'm going to leave the paint color I'm using in the bottom left-hand corner so you always know what I'm using, and I'll put my tool sizes down in the right-hand corner. If something interesting comes up, I'll pop in and we'll talk about it. But for now, let's get painting. I'm going to be trying out this new paint stir that I got in the mail. I haven't made my mind up about it yet, but you'll see me using it during this video, so I'll leave a link for it down below. So far, I really like it. Thank you, Kathleen. Now I'm going to be using my fine line brush to drag out the tails of these teardrops. You guys are more than welcome to use a fine point stylus if you're more comfortable with that. I think that's the quote unquote normal thing to do. But I've been practicing with this fine line brush for so long, I feel like I'm doing much better at controlling these teardrops using that brush. So I'm going to be using that. Use whatever you like. This neon pink is really thick, and I'm finding that it's so much easier to use a stylus than a dotting rod. So I'm using this great big 5mm stylus from Happy Dotting Company. You guys, this set is really cool for stuff like this. All right, now I'm trying to think of how to elaborate on our galaxy theme, and I'm wondering if I can't turn this whole little section into those black holes that you see in outer space. I think that would be really cool. Let's see if we can't duplicate something like that, or at least get close. It almost looks like those black holes are trying to suck in all of our teardrops. Let's go ahead and get that black in there and see what this really looks like. Now, I didn't like these little black top dots whatsoever, which is really unusual, so I'm taking my chances at just covering them back up with that neon pink. I think it's going to turn out kind of cool. All right, now let's put a whole lot of particles into those black holes, in the form of glitter, of course. All right, I'm totally thinking of Saturn and the Milky Way. Y'all, I don't know, I'm not an astronaut, and I have no idea where I'm going with this, but I'm totally going there. Let's go. Now, I know you guys see me top dotting these amethyst dots that are not dry. You guys, I can't practice what I preach, but yet I'm going to preach it. You really should wait for them to be dry. You can kind of get away with it with this glitter, but if you make a mistake, boy, oh boy, are you in for it. Now, I got lucky this round, but just be careful. Perhaps just wait a little while to let that dot dry a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to sign it with my initials, and I'm going to put the date on there, and then we're going to kind of hide it within the mandala. I love doing that. I like to kind of put my signature in with the mandala, incorporate it in there just a little bit. I think that's so much fun to do. If I can't do it, I'll usually just sign like the side of the canvas, but always on the back too. Okay, this looks totally cool to me, you guys. I am going to go ahead and stop here. I'm going to erase all of my guidelines. Once this is dry, I'm just going to use a damp cotton swab and wipe them all off, and then I'll let that dry, and I'm going to seal it all with this super high shine sealer. And then we'll be back to take a final reveal. While I'm doing that, I'm going to leave you a whole recap of the supplies I used, and don't forget, I've left you links for everything down in the description. Here's everything I used, and I'll be right back with that final reveal. Oh no, I sprayed right over that cabochon. Y'all, it did not work. I thought at first it didn't cover it really well, so guess what? I gave it 2 coats of the super high shine. Now I'm gonna try really hard to see if I can salvage it. I'm gonna test out using fingernail polish remover on this other trinket to see if I'm scared that it might not be glass. It feels like glass, but I'm not sure. So I wanna make sure it doesn't make it cloudy. And it seems like it's gonna be just fine, so I am gonna see what I can do. I started rubbing this with this cotton swab with the fingernail polish remover on it. It didn't seem to work. I tried a little harder. I tried to scratch it with my fingernail through the glove. I even tried a Mr. Clean eraser. Y'all, all it did was make it cloudy. Oh my gosh. I don't know what possessed me to come back with a clean cotton swab and just try again, but something magical happened. Do you see that? I broke through the skin of the sealer, and now I sat here for the longest time just slowly pushing it towards the sides. I took an X-Acto knife and I cut all the way around, so that way when I started peeling that off, I wouldn't peel it off of the record too. And after a lot of elbow grease, I finally got it. Now, let's give this upcycled galactic record a whole new final reveal. Oh my gosh, this turned out so good. I love it so very much. Now, I'm calling this Galaxy just because that cabochon, it really does look like some galactic swirl. And when my daughter was younger, she would tell you that her favorite color was Galaxy, and it was all of these colors. Now, she was only maybe 8 years old, but I love the fact that I have a galactic mandala now. I hope you guys like this. I hope you give it a try. Don't forget I left you all the links down in the description for everything you need. There's so many helpful videos down there in that getting started section. And don't forget to check out channel memberships, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. All those things really help my channel. You would have no idea how much just that little like button helps. All right, check out all of these videos, and until next time, rock on.